The real impact of dependents on your mortgage. Having worked before with new families and soon to be parents, a concern that often rises is how will dependents impact their mortgage, particularly on what they can borrow. So what we're going to do is look at a lender calculator, look at a basic purchase of £300,000, borrowing £270,000, so 90% loan to value. We're going to look at a mortgage term of 30 years. The combined income is going to be £63,000, and we're going to look at how much they can borrow with no dependents and how much they could borrow with dependents, and see if there's a difference. Before we look at the lender calculator, this is a hypothetical scenario to look at the impact of what dependents will have on what someone can borrow. Obviously, your circumstances will be unique to you. If you're unsure how having dependents will impact you and your mortgage, then please speak with a broker. So we've got a lender calculator here. So as I mentioned, purchase of £300,000, borrowing £270,000, so it's a 90% loan to value, term of 30 years, so very typical mortgage term. Two applicants, so one applicant £33,000, the other £30,000, so combined income of £63,000. The key point here, no dependents and no credit commitments either. So let's see what they could borrow. So £282,870. So here, with no dependents, they can clearly borrow more than they need to, which was £270,000. So back to the lender calculator. This time, let's put some dependents in. So let's go with 2. Keeping everything exactly the same. So 300k purchase price, 270k borrowing. Income is still the same. Still no dependents. So let's see if there's an impact on what they can borrow. And there's not. 282,870, exactly the same, whether they had dependents or not. And that's because, generally speaking, having dependents does not impact what you can borrow for a mortgage. As we've seen here, whether they've got no dependents or 2, and even 3, it still wouldn't diminish what they could borrow. However, as we know, having children can come with costs, such as nursery fees or school fees. Now that could have an impact on what they could borrow in this scenario. So we're back to the lender calculator again. Everything is still the same. Same purchase price, same borrowing amount, same income. We've got 2 dependents, so now there are fees involved. So this could be nursery fees, which can be obviously quite high, or they could be school fees. So we're going to put in an amount here of £600 a month. In this scenario, we're only including dependents and fees involved with those dependents. There are no credit cards involved here or unsecured loans. So let's see what impact this will have. And as you can see, it has quite a big impact, particularly if it's below a 5-year fixed deal. 224,000 it drops to, and 268,000, near enough £700 on a 5-year fixed deal. Now this scenario was for this particular couple's own dependents. Now obviously when you're looking to get a mortgage, you could come from a previous relationship where you've had children before and you may have to pay maintenance. Now maintenance also has to go down onto a lender calculator, and that will have an impact on what you can borrow as well. It's treated pretty much the same as an unsecured loan. Let's have a look. So we're back to this same calculator. Same purchase price, same loan amount, same income, 63k. Okay, this time there's no school fees or nursery fees. Maybe they're both at primary school. There's nothing involved potentially. This time let's look at outgoings, which will be maintenance. Let's put down an amount of £500. Okay, so a 5-year fixed deal, 282, so could get the borrowing that they needed. 235,895 on anything less than a 5-year fixed deal. So again, just to reiterate, it's not actually having dependents that has a massive impact on what you can borrow for a mortgage. It's fees involved, whether that's school fees, nursery fees, or if it's a child from a previous relationship and paying maintenance, that can have an impact on what you can borrow. However, if you have children from a previous relationship and you receive maintenance, then that can also have an impact on what you can borrow, but in the opposite way. Let's have a look. So it's the same, everything the same as before. Same loan amount, same income. Okay, So we've got £500. Let's take that out. So now we've got other income to take into account. Other income to take into account is maintenance, total annual amount. So let's say it's £400 a month, so £4,800 a year. Let's have a look at what that will do. And all of a sudden, borrowing becomes £304,422. Remember, we needed to borrow £270 in this scenario. So we could put in childcare costs, and let's do 500 here. So if you go for a 5-year fixed deal, even with childcare costs or nursery fees, if in this scenario £500, receiving that maintenance means that in this scenario they could borrow over £300,000 still. So if you're looking to get a mortgage and maybe you're soon to be parents or you're a new family and you're not sure what impact having dependents will have on getting a mortgage, then don't assume they necessarily will have an impact. Please speak with a broker to find out exactly what impact dependents will have when it comes to getting a mortgage. And of course, if you're unsure, you can comment below and I'm more than happy to run through it with you.